We're back with another episode of Coffee with April. This time, we're going to talk about Gesha, which, to be fair, we've done before, but I want to be a bit more specific and share one of my favorite Gesha estates. We're talking about the Gesha Village Estate down in the southwest of Ethiopia, run by Adam. It's by far, according to our opinions, one of the best Gesha estates you can find. It should be stated on the record that Gesha for us here at April is a varietal that is very challenging and very often not worth the price. There's a situation today on the market where a lot of people, especially coming into competition seasons, are buying all of these really expensive Geshas from all over the place, and they come out just not tasting very good. I think history, or at least modern times now, has shown us or teached us that it's not enough to be a Gesha, right? So the quality of a coffee comes from a lot of different things, that it's not just down to the varietal. The varietal is important, but it's not enough, meaning by default, all Geshas are not amazing. So that leads us here at April to not work with that many Gesha coffees, because the price are definitely not relatable to the quality of the coffee, even though price is always factoring on other variables than simply taste quality as well, which we agree to. But in this case, it's a disproportional difference in price and taste quality most of the times, not always. We worked with the Gesha Village Estate now for this year. I personally have been working with it for quite some time, working with other roasteries. I remember we had one of the first lots competing and coaching in Dublin for the World Brewers a few years back, together with the German competitor Hannes. And that was right in the beginning when they first started to harvest their coffees. We were one of the first ones to compete with it. And the crops were a bit too early, it didn't really shine through the way that it should have, but it's really amazing coffee. I think the first time I was exposed to a Gesha Village coffee was through these sample packs that Gesha Intelligentsia have done. I always thought they were really, really well done. So you get these kind of tiny package, 50 grams of each, and it was 3 different versions of Gesha Village coffee, and they were all amazing. So it's been a really interesting process to see Gesha Village kind of establish themselves on the market as an estate, as a farm. They also have several other varietals that are not Gesha related that are really interesting. At the moment, they have a mainly Gori Gesha, which would be a native version of Gesha, and then the 1931 Gesha, which is a strain of the Gesha taken from Ethiopia, planted in Panama, gotten really famous, and then from Esmeralda brought back to Gesha Village and planted again, which is absolutely amazing. Now, why do we think Gesha Village is such an interesting estate? Well, it's for being a Gesha estate, they're down to earth in the sense that you call them, you cup their coffees, you talk with Adam about the coffees, and he will tell you that, okay, so this coffee's an 88, this one is an 89, this one has the potential of being 90 plus. Whereas most of the farmers in relationship to Geshas would be, yeah, I have this amazing 94 coffee, 95 coffee. And, you know, truth be told, 94, 95 coffees just doesn't happen. It never did for me, and it will probably never do. So we like the fact that it's a really kind of realistic way to look at their coffees. We've been working with 2 lots this year, which is the 91 and the 42. 42 being a natural processed Gori Gesha, 91 being a natural processed 1931 Gesha. They're all from different segments of the farm. And they've been both tasting absolutely amazing. Especially the 1931, lot 91 has been probably the best coffee I ever had. It's been absolutely amazing green coffee. And we've been really excited with that. And also in relationship to having this amazingly tasting coffee to how much it's priced. It's a really, for sure it's an expensive coffee in the sense that it costs a lot of money, but there's value for money. There's a correlation there, right? And I think that's very important. And as I said, we've been long time kind of followers of what they're doing at the Gesha Village. And I think for anyone out there actually looking to get into the Gesha game, even though I don't necessarily recommend it, then start by looking at the Gesha Village, because there's a lot of opportunity there. There's a lot of quality there that I think people should tune into if you're into the Gesha varietal in general. Sure, there's other estates that also have really good version of it. I'm not saying they don't, but I'm also saying that there is plenty of estates that have a less good version of it that you perhaps shouldn't be paying $30, $40, $50, $100, $200 a kilo for, right? So there's something to keep in mind. Do what you want with it, but we just kind of wanted to share, first of all, one, that the Gesha Village coffees has been the best coffees we ever worked with here at April. It's been the two best coffees I personally ever worked with in my career. They've been absolutely amazing, and that's really fun, and it's very rare, and it doesn't always happen. So we're really excited to continue our work with them, having their coffees. And also kind of shed some light, because I'm still getting emails from people asking, how to roast geishas and so on and so on. And I find most of the times the challenging part of roasting it is the fact that the quality isn't there to begin with some of them. And then, they paid a lot of money, they got really excited, they're using it for a competition, and in the end of the day, it's going to come out tasting like paper. Not because the roast necessarily isn't very good, but because there's nothing in the coffee. So we need to start questioning this kind of thing, and we can't just look at a varietal and say, just because it is this varietal, it's going to be amazing, because it's not that easy. There's a million other factors that goes into this as well. But we're going to keep this short this time. If you guys have any questions, any comments on this, as usual, just write it down here. We're always happy to take that dialogue. Always happy to connect you with Adam at Gesha Village as well if you want to. Again, they have some amazing coffees. Thank you for tuning in.